Hello and welcome to Rain Francis Art. My name is Rain. Today I'm doing a little bit of a watercolor study and the subject is lips. So let's paint. This is what I'll be using today for the watercolor lips. I've got a visual journal watercolor pad, 90 pound. It's a small one. It's 5.5 by 8 inches and I have it landscape. And as you can see, I've already kind of drawn an outline of the lips. And for the paints, I have this brand here. It's called Pretty Excellent. I got this off Amazon. These are pan paints, and I'm going to stick to these colors here, the reds. All right. I love these. They're so nice and vibrant. As for paint brushes, I'm not sure which ones I'm going to use. I have a number 2 round, a number 4 round, and I have my number 4 liner. So I'll let you know which ones I end up using. I'll leave a list in the description of all the supplies that I used. I've got my little palette if I want to mix some watercolors. Let me put this over here. Got some paper towel and I've got some water. And away I go. Now, I wanted to show you what it looks like, okay? So what I could do actually is I can make a little stencil of this if you want. You can print it out and then transfer it onto your watercolor paper. The way I did it was, well, I drew it right onto the canvas, which I don't normally do. But what you could do is when you print it out, you can actually see a video that I made called, I think it's called How to Transfer Your Stencil onto your canvas or something like that. I'll leave a link in the description and in the card above. It's pretty easy to do. But I don't want graphite in my painting, so I'm taking my kneaded eraser and I'm just going over it really gently to remove some of that graphite. I still see my stencil, but I really don't want any smudging in there. So this is what I'm doing. And those areas there, kind of squiggly line areas, those are the areas that I'm going to keep white because I want those to be the highlights of the lips. It's just lifting all the excess graphite off. It works pretty well, this kneaded eraser. So you might not be able to see the stencil very well right now, but I can see it right in front of me. So what I'm going to start with is I've got my, let's see, I think I'm going to choose my number 2 round brush. It's smaller and I'll have a little bit more control. So I'm going to start by just applying wet on wet. And all that means is that I'm wetting my paper first, my canvas first, just on the upper lip here, but not on the highlighted areas. And I'm going to apply some color. Okay, so I didn't wet those areas. Now what I'm going to do, instead of moving my paints, I'm having a hard time today. Instead of moving my paints in front of the camera, I'm just going to tell you as I go which one I'm using. So this is called Rose Red. And it's kind of, as you can see, it's a little pinky, which is nice. I'm curious to see how realistic these lips will look. I was a little obsessed with lips this week because, as many of you know, I have a weekly art date on my website, Rain Francis Creations. And I create an optional prompt. This week's prompt was lips. So I'm painting lips. And if you ever want to join in to the art date, it's a blog hop, pretty much. You can go to my website every Thursday. I'll leave links everywhere. Okay, and you can join in. You have to have a blog though, or actually an Instagram account. You could probably put a YouTube link too. We'd love to see your art, and you don't have to follow the prompts. They're optional. It's actually called Thursday Art and Dinner Date. I just want to let you know what I'm doing here. Just at the edge of the mouth here, I'm putting in a bit of a darker shade of that rose, and I just want to soften up the top here because that part dried real quick. Yeah, so for that Thursday Art and Dinner Date, we have a nice little community of food lovers and art lovers, and we share links to each other's blog posts, and we visit, and it's really fun to see what people post. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I need a little bit, I'm thinking of a little bit of a darker color, and I'm going to take, let's see, I have something called Madder Red. It's M-A-D-D-E-R. And I'm actually going to put some onto my palette because it might be a little dark. And I want to lighten it up with some water, and we'll see. We'll see how that goes. So I'm just going to, you know how the lips always have these lines in them. I'm just going to put a couple of lines here and there. And I'm kind of following the contour of the lip. I'm going to pull some of that paint off. And how I do that is I have a clean brush, and I'm just touching it and wiping it on my paper towel. Okay, so let me put that down. This feels very easy today. Okay, so next I'm taking a little bit more of a warm red, and I'm going to take, it's called Carmine Red, and I'm just going to add a little bit of Carmine Red. That might be a little too pinky for me. Let me see. How about Scarlet Red? Need a little more water. Scarlet Red is a little orangey. Yeah, that's probably what I'm looking for. I'm just going to put some around the bottom of that lip. I'm just tapping and dabbing. Kind of lost my lines there. I'll have to wait till it dries and then add some more lines. Okay, I'm just going to soften with just a clean, wet, not wet, but damp brush. I'm going to soften that up a little so it doesn't quite look like a line. I tend to get little droplets of water here. I forget to wipe them off and they fall on my canvas. And right now it wouldn't matter because that doesn't have any paint on it, but sometimes it actually kind of ruins the look of my painting. All right. Well, my upper lip area has dried a bit, so I'm going to take some of that Madder Red again and try to make those lines come back. They show a little more on this side here. Okay. I am, though, however, going to pull off the puddling area there. Okay, that's good. So now I'm going to start working a little bit on the lower lip. And I want a little bit of sort of a peachy color maybe I'm looking for. I don't have a peachy color, so I'm going to probably use that same Scarlet Red. Or maybe I'll mix. Yes, I'll mix some of the Rose Red, which is kind of pinky. And I'll put some of that Scarlet Red in there. See, that's the pinky kind of rose. Some of the scarlet red. Maybe a little more of that scarlet red. It's not really peachy, but let's see how it goes. It's more pinky, but that's okay. You know what? I just want to have fun. I'm really not looking for perfection here. Because painting is just so relaxing. Little drop of water there from the brush. All right. I'm going to take some of that rose red again, because I'd like to make the lips on the top, the upper lip, a little darker. Not by much, but just a little darker. That's a little too dark. Lighten that up a little. I want to be careful not to cover my highlights or my highlighted areas. Just adding water to blend. Okay, so now for the bottom lip, I'm going to take some of the, let's see, I think I was using the Scarlet red, yeah, that same color that was here, and I'm going to add that to the bottom area of the lip. I'm doing wet on dry right now. Let me hold my page. And I'm going to wet that so that it's not so opaque. Maybe add a little over here. Oh, that's my dog Raven shaking. Shake it up, Raven. All right. Now what I want to do is, with that same scarlet red, I want to add some over here, but I want it to be just a little darker. If you look at the side of a mouth, it's always a little darker. That's where the shadow is. All right, now while I'm in that scarlet red, I'm going to make this area here a little darker. And just with a little bit of water, I'm gonna gently blend that. Why don't I make a few lines with that color too? I want to see how I can, what I'm doing here, you know? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm a little stressed out today. I'm brain dead. Okay. Now how about some of that rose color just in the corners again? Make sure we've got a dark corner. Need a little water in there. I'm going to continue to fill in the lips with that Scarlet red, but I want it wet because I want it to be transparent. That noise you just heard, I don't know if you heard it or not. The sun is shining and all of the ice on the roof is falling off. It's like an avalanche. Sometimes it's really loud and it scares me. All right. So now what do I want to do? I want to pull some paint off here because I just realized I want to put a few more highlights on the lips on the bottom. Don't know if I'll be able to do that without wrecking my paper. But why don't I try with the edge of a paper towel and see if I can do that. If not, it's no big deal and I've learned a lesson. But I'll try. Maybe just some light highlights, I guess. I could always go in and put some white in there after, but I want to make this simple. Okay, that'll be fine. Just to give the idea of a highlight. So now I'm going to go back into that rose red color, that beautiful pink color, and I want to do the bottom of the mouth here. All right, and let's soften that up with some water. I just got through doing another video on how to draw lips with graphite pencils, and I think that one turned out really well. So if you're interested, check out that video. Card above, link below. Okay, so now I may have to wait for this to dry just a little bit before I do anything else, but I just want to make sure that I've got, let's see, I want to fix all this up to make it look better. So I'm going in my rose red color again. I think I'll put it on my palette this time because I want it to be nice and transparent. You know, I don't want it to be dark. There we go. And I'm going to go around all of those highlights so that you can't, you know, see the pencil. Okay, same on the bottom, and I believe that was the Scarlet red, yeah, that's the one I have here. Okay. Just playing around here. What else can I do? I might take more of that rose red mixed with water and just put it down here on the bottom of the lip. A little more water to blend all of that in. And the Scarlet. I don't know, that looks like candy lips to me. It doesn't look like real lips, but that's all right. I'm going to take some more rose red. Make sure I've got dark, real dark in the corner here and in this corner. I'm just pulling some of that off so it doesn't look like a line there. I've noticed that I may have put a little too much of this color here, so I'm going to try to pull some off. And all you do is you wet your brush, pat it, and just pull some of the paint off if you can. If it's already dry, it might be a little too difficult to do that, but I just want to create a little more, a lighter color here so that we can kind of see the contour of the lip. You see what I mean? So I'm just wetting and pulling. Wetting, wiping and pulling. There we go. Wet, wipe, pull. All right, and what I did learn from the drawing lesson is that in between the lips it's always a little darker, so I'm going to grab some of that rose red and put a little darkness here. I'm going to soften that up just a little, very, very lightly here. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm making an executive decision. I hope I don't make a mistake. Put it all along the line of the lip here. Very, very thin line. I think that makes a big difference. And I'm kind of doing little U shapes. Very lightly. All right. Now let's see. I'd like to put some lines in, and I don't know if I'm going to ruin everything, but if I don't like what I'm doing, I'll erase it after. I'm following the contour of the lip. See? I think that's okay, except for the one over here is a little bit too goofy looking, so I'll erase that. There. Now with the, let's see, Scarlet red, I'll do the same thing on the bottom lips. The bottom lips, like there's two bottom lips. Good one, Rain. Okay. I'll put some lines coming up. No, I just want to remove that. There we go. All right, what else can I do? I like those lines, but they're just a little too, you know what I mean? They show too much as lines, so I want to soften them up. I just have a wet brush here, and I'm going around the bottom first, and then pulling my brush up. Because, you know, all of our lips, we have these lines, but they're not obvious lines, you know. Here it's okay. This one I don't mind. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to see if this works or not. I wanted to put a highlight up here at the top of the lip, but I didn't leave an empty spot for it. So I've got my water and I've got my white, and I'm loading up my brush with the white. It's very transparent though, this white, so I don't know. See? Very, very transparent, so I don't know if this is going to work or not. I've loaded up my brush. I wanted to put just a little bit of highlighting here. Does that work? Let's see. Maybe I can add some here. I might do a couple of layers. And I'll just add white to the spots that are already highlighted where I didn't paint, just so I can say I painted the whole thing. And it'll blend nicely too. I do need the tiniest bit of water, and I'm loading up my brush again here off camera with white. Right. I'm going to put more white there. I'm just going to wet my brush again, load it up with the white. I hardly have any water on this. Now let's see what I can do here. I just want some thin white lines. Just the idea. Okay, and maybe some over here. You know what? I think I'm happy with that. I'm not going to touch it anymore. That was a fun little study. I hope you enjoyed it. How did your lips turn out? My lips look puckered up and ready for a kiss. Oh, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, my friends. It was fun. If you did, don't forget to like the video. It helps my channel a lot. And please subscribe as well. And hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos that I upload. And do leave me a comment. I love your comments and I reply to all of them. So we will see you next time on Rain Francis Art. Thanks again for being here, my friends. Bye.